Hey,
Hello.
we're live. Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday night.
Welcome back.
Yeah, we're hoping tonight no internet problems. We'll have to play it by ear and see. We haven't had them. I don't know. I haven't had any this week today. Have you? Any internet issues? Okay, so hopefully not. Well, hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday. We actually already have a comment. Richard, hello. I don't know if you put on that before, so I don't know if you're looking or not, but he says Dallas crash, let's go. All right, so that is Richard's input, and with that, what do you think, Dallas crash?
No crashes.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I did a video on that, and one thing I said was like, what's the definition of that? You can't just use the word crash. Like, you got to quantify that before. You can never identify if something's happening if you don't quantify it first.
True.
You know, you got to have some data on that.
True.
So well, that's my one thought on there is the fact that you got to quantify it. Anyway, it's Tuesday. I know what you've been doing all day. You've been looking for houses.
Yep.
Right. That's
It's not
your
like
thing.
It's not like I ever do that.
Oh yeah, that was completely new for you.
Hello, Purple Drake.
Hey, Purple Drink, how are you tonight? It's good to see you. Today I recorded videos, so like we both did these really surprising activities. Now, I recorded a video on seasonality, kind of talking about that in 2025 and 2026. And then I also am doing a builder review on Windsor homes. So I recorded that as well. So in fact, I've got several coming up: Chesmar, Windsor, Pulte, John Houston. Which, by the way, guys, jump in if you ever have a video, a builder that you'd like me to review. Let me know in the comments. I'm glad to do it.
Wyatt James.
What builder is that? All right. He said he's doing good. Well, that's good to know, Purple Drink. We're doing good too. Just keep him busy. I'm recording videos and he's doing showings and looking up houses. So where were you looking today? Frisco, right?
Mostly McKinney, kind of around Frisco.
Frisco, McKinney, and you said you were looking Capel and Irving, but not finding anything.
Well, that was a different one. That was like a real fast search.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. But you spent hours looking in McKinney houses, right?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
I was looking at new construction communities.
Gotcha. How about a review on William Ryan Homes? Purple Drake, check out my playlist on builder reviews because I already did one on them. And it was very unplugged, and I did not try to play nice. So I said it like it was. So you should check that one out. It's already done. So yeah, go to my builder review playlist and you will find it there. I've done, I think, like 30 builders so far. And the funny thing is that doesn't even there's still so many more. There's so many builders. Let's see here now. Oh, LA Jim. Sorry. There we go. Hello from Little Elm and LA. Okay. Well, hello. And how are you in two places at once? We need the details on that one. Hello from Little Elm. How's Little Elm today? We don't have a whole lot of buyers looking in Little Elm every once in a while. Get a lot more in Frisco, Plano, Prosper, Salina, and out west.
Not as much in Salina lately.
Yeah, you know what? That is a good point. Not nearly as much. It used to be. It was always Salina, but now
I'm kind of surprised because there's some good deals up there. So.
Yeah, now it's more on the west side, isn't it? We get some like Treeline, Justin, Argyle. We've done some for Harvest. All right. Well, good evening, Mr. OL. How are you? You go back and forth. Oh my goodness, that is quite a commute then. Wow. There was a time that you commuted like that. Well, not commute per se, but you had to travel with work a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like every week practically. All right, guys, let's check in on a couple polls here. Just a couple for fun. Let me see here. Let's come back to the beginning. Okay, everybody. What do you think happens next for the Dallas housing market? Because that's what we're going to talk about today. What do you think happens next?
We keep selling.
We keep selling. It's easy answer for us. We keep helping buyers and keep helping sellers. Okay, here's A. What do you think? Buyers keep control. What do you think? You think buyers keep control?
At least for now. I don't know. I mean, though.
He has to think about this.
I mean, looking at pre-owned, there's still a lot out there, and there's a lot of motivated sellers. Looking at new construction, some of the incentives are going away. Some of the
really?
some of the forward commitments are running out. I mean, not all of them, but some of them. So
I know we knew to expect that. We knew that those
Yeah.
forward commitments would be the first things to go whenever rates started coming
Yeah.
down. So that's a bummer, though. Those forward commitments are a beautiful
I mean,
thing.
they're not completely gone yet, and there's always the whole thing also too about coming up on phase changes or running out of inventory homes and stuff like that
Phase,
too.
yeah.
So
Gotcha.
so, yeah.
Let's see. Buyers keep control. Sellers finally get some relief. How about my sellers out there wanting some relief? Now, we did have a Frisco listing that went under contract in like a week. So things are not, completely terrible for our sellers right now. But that was a beautiful home, staged very well. So
and that's what I've seen.
That makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Like I know another agent. I looked at a couple of her homes, and she stages them amazingly. Did it look really nice, and she's got them under contract. So
yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, or C, nothing really changes. Let's hear it, guys. A, B, or C? What do you think happens next for the Dallas housing market? A, buyers keep control. B, sellers finally get some relief. Or C, nothing really changes. What's your...
Right now, I'm thinking nothing's changing.
Nothing's really changing.
So, I mean, there's probably a little minor changes, but yeah.
All right, Purple Drank is with you on that one. Nothing really changes. Okay, anybody else? Oh, and LA Jim and Purple Drank both feel the same way.
I mean, I guess we've kind of seen there's been more buyers, though. So, I mean, it's maybe which could help sellers.
Hey, Charity. Charity also says nothing really changes.
Yeah.
Okay, so about the same, and it's an inconsistent market where some areas sellers are firmly in control and other areas, definitely buyers, probably characterized by buyers being in charge. And then your sellers are more in control in your luxury areas where interest rates don't make a difference, where you've got people coming in with all cash. All right, let's see here now. Hey, Mr. OL, I think we stay the course for now. I believe the DFW housing market will be predicated on what happens with those housing markets that sent out-of-state buyers to Texas. So that's a very interesting perspective. Predicated on what happens with those housing markets. That's a very interesting thought. Okay, so C. All right, I hear you.
In general, that kind of makes sense too.
That does make a lot of sense.
Because I mean, it depends on what the job market will do as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. In fact, it's interesting you say that because the video I was doing today, I was talking about seasonality, and one of the, if we want to follow the pattern of last year and how seasonality worked, one of the differentiations is the job market. It's a lot different this year. I mean, like last year, uncertainty. Yeah, we had it because we had a presidential election.
Yeah.
This year we have tariffs. So we still had market uncertainty. Last year that hasn't really changed. We still have rates doing about the same thing where they've come down.
Yeah.
That hasn't changed, but the big change, the core change is the job market.
Yeah.
You've really seen some changes there. All right. Well, you know what? Let me see what else let's see what else we've got here. Okay. Let's see. Purple Drink. I really hope, did you mean to say hope they try to drop the bond again until the job market goes up? Yeah, the job market needs help. So I am hoping that we get some relief there as well. Okay, couple of other questions. You guys, tell me what you think. What's the bigger deal for you? Monthly payment savings or home prices dropping?
Most people I've been seeing is monthly home payment savings. I mean, when they talk about prices, they usually, and you drill down to it, usually they're looking at how much, how low is my payment going to be per month. So,
do you think that
then I have to go through and explain how rates change that way more than prices do.
Yeah,
so
they really do, guys. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. But, what's the bigger deal for you, monthly payment savings or home prices dropping? Sometimes I think we should be more concerned with home prices dropping, because if you try to sell and then you can't, that's a really bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to have to lose your equity. So sometimes I think we need to be worried more about prices. Or, okay, be honest, who here has a mortgage rate under 4% and refuses to move because of it? All right, guys, be honest. Who all has, we do personally, we have, I think, a 3.75,
or 3.75. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I would hate to have to move for that, you know. So yeah, I bet there's a lot of people. Okay, which scares you more, high home prices or high mortgage rates? Come on, you guys, jump in on the comments. We need to hear. What are your thoughts? What scares you more, high home prices or high mortgage rates? I think high home prices. I think high home prices. Yes, Mr. Oil agrees with us. We both said that, all three of us at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think home prices going up will just completely bump a lot of buyers out of the market. So, and then sellers won't be able to sell, and then we'll definitely have a really slow real estate market.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to say high home prices because also mortgage rates aren't really all that high. They're just experientially from the past years they are. All right, Purple Drink says high mortgage rates, and Charity, hey, Charity says high home prices. So we got three that say home prices rising. I think so too. I think because like also home prices rising means somebody's going to get hurt. Like if they go too high and then they go down versus if rates go up and down, you know. I mean, I guess still people get hurt if they try to sell and they can't because rates are high. But I think more when you're upside down, that's just a bad place to be. Okay, let's see here now. LA Jim, high home prices. Ready to buy another near Little Elm. Gotcha. Okay, so that scares you more, the high home prices. Yep, I think so. All right, let me see what else we have here. Let's dig into our article tonight. We got a really good article talking about how the Dallas housing market could shift now that the Fed has cut rates. So, and one of the things we're going to talk about is the difference that the interest rates make on monthly payments as well.
Yep.
So here's our article: Fed cuts rates, how the Dallas housing market could shift for buyers, sellers, and investors. The Federal Reserve has officially cut interest rates for the first time in nearly a year. It's hard to believe it's been a whole year. That's crazy. A 25 basis point reduction that lowers the Fed funds rate to 4 to 4.25%. So it's always a range. While the move was widely anticipated, it carries significant implications for real estate, especially here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Okay, for agents, investors, and homeowners, understanding how this shift may ripple through the housing market is essential. Mortgage rates, demand, inventory, and investment opportunities are all in play. Let's explore how the rate cut might reshape our market and what to watch in the months ahead. What do you think? Sound interesting? Intrigued?
Sure. We'll see if
now you want to see
if they actually have anything good to say.
All right. Well, we'll see, I guess. Although the Fed doesn't set mortgage rates directly, make sure you guys understand we're not saying that they do. Its moves influence them heavily. Mortgage lenders look to treasury yields, inflation expectations, and overall borrowing costs when setting rates. And guys, you know what? The fact that it influences them, I think this is really good. Okay, so it doesn't set them directly. Its moves influence them heavily. I think the important thing to keep in mind there is it can influence them heavily before the moves happen.
It's more about the thought of what may happen.
And I think
the implications ahead of time. Because there are always investors and they're always thinking ahead, in companies and stuff. They're trying to think about, well, what do we need to do to take care of this?
Because I've heard people say, well, rates went up after the Fed dropped rates, so therefore the Fed has nothing to do with mortgage rates. Well, that's not true. It impacted it beforehand. And then you have like this adjustment period where, okay, that's not exactly what we expected the Fed to do. What did they say? So I think it definitely impacts them. It's just sometimes it's before and sometimes it's after.
It's more what they say oftentimes than it is
I think
what
so
actually
too.
happens.
Yeah, it's like the messages that they send. All right, let's see here now. The 30-year fixed mortgage rate has eased into the mid 6% range, down from above 7% earlier this year. Is that what we're seeing over here? Let's take a look. Let me see if I can share this tab instead. What do we see? Okay, so 6.37, so it's a little bit lower than what that article says. 6.37% for 30-year fixed, 6.05% for 30-year FHA. Just a couple weeks ago, it was a lot lower than that. So that just tells you we're definitely seeing some volatility in rates.
Came back up, but it looks like, if you look at the graph, it looks like it's flattening out a little bit. So.
All right, let's see what we have here. The 30, let's see, short term. Okay, As of mid-September 2025, the 30-year fixed mortgage rate has eased into the mid 6% range. Short-term borrowing costs are declining. Okay, so that's interesting. We don't often think about that.
Mm-hmm.
And who's that going to benefit? Developers, builders, and investors who rely on financing. And then market expectations now suggest 2 more rate cuts could happen before year end, depending on economic data. Now, as far as I know, that's still, the prediction.
Yes.
Even though we had some, readings this week that came out higher, inflation readings, I from what I understand, they're still talking about doing that.
Yep.
Okay. Affordability gains. This is what you guys need to know. This definitely happens. Isaac, let me pop in and say hello to Isaac. Hey, Wendy and Dale, always good to hear from you both. You too. Hey, Isaac, welcome back. I'm glad you joined us tonight. Our fun Tuesday night thing. All right, a small drop in mortgage rates helps buyers qualify for larger loans or enjoy lower monthly payments. This is very, very true. This is especially important in Dallas, where median home prices remain elevated relative to incomes. One of the things I just did in the video I recorded today, I was talking about, there was this article that said when rates go from 7 to 6, it raises, I think it's at 144,000 more buyers can enter the housing market.
Wow.
Yeah. And so suddenly you have that many more people that are priced enough that they can actually buy. So that's a 1% rate, but I'm going to, I get to that here in a minute as well. Let me see here now. Here we go. Okay. So here's some examples, guys. A $400,000 mortgage at 7% is going to run you, just the mortgage part, $26.61 a month. And so when I say mortgage, I'm talking about the debt. I'm not talking about your house
principal
payment.
And interest.
Just principal and interest. Okay. So that's at 7%, $26.61 a month. At 6%, okay, it's $23.98 a month. Okay. At 5%, $21.47 a month. So do you see how effective and how powerful those rate movements are? And I think a lot of people don't realize that. So between 7% and 5%, okay, guess what? That's how big your monthly payment difference is. Okay. So same exact house, so same 322, whatever, at 7%, $26.61, at 5%, $21.47. I mean, so that's when we talk about how we've got more buyers that are able to enter the market and their buying power increases. So let me show you an example of that. So I think that, to me, that's just so powerful. And I hear my commenters and my viewers that are like, Wendy, rates have nothing to do with it. It is all about prices. I really think it's a combination.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, there's a deflection point where if rates even were like, if rates came down to 0%, you'd eventually get to a point where prices you'd still not be able to buy. But I just don't think that's where we are right now. I still think that rates will have an impact. So somebody's going to hate me for saying that.
I think you're right now, you're just more likely to see rates move than you are going to see prices move that much, honestly. It just hasn't been long enough. We're not that volatile of a market here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. You're just not, it doesn't do that. It's never has. So
it's been volatile a little bit this year, but in a big cluster MLS perspective, the entire MLS, it hasn't. Yeah. But then when you go at a micro market level, it has. You've had some spots that have really adjusted. But you know what? When I post stuff like this, I'm going to get some negative comments. People are going to be mad at me for saying that. But I really do think rates make a difference. I really do.
Let them be mad.
Okay. All right. Here's another example. When we talk about buyers who can enter the market, who couldn't before. All right. Mortgage budget, $21.50 a month at 7%. Okay. You can get a house. You can get a mortgage for $323,000. Okay. So if I decided I was not going to spend more than $21.50 a month for a mortgage, okay, I'd be looking at $323,000. There's not a whole lot there. Yeah. There's not a whole lot for $323,000 that I actually want.
Wow. So you're gonna have to pay.
You're probably gonna
have to do a 20% down and get something closer to get something about 400,
But if you didn't have 20% down, what are you going to find for that?
Other than that,
under 350,
it's going to be under 350.
That's really restrictive, and it can be done definitely, but you're going to be looking at something that's not that exciting. Okay, for a mortgage in that price range. Okay, now if we drop, so right now 323,000. If we drop to 5%, all of a sudden my budget goes up to 400,000. So now I get something a little nicer. Okay, with a $400,000. A little bit nicer than what I can at 323. And so that's what that article.
Then you could get a $500,000 home with 20% down.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Our first time buyers who are in this budget, I'm sorry, most of them do not have 20% down.
Oh, so it's just in their backyard, buried someplace. I don't know.
It's just buried treasure. No, I think, our move up buyers.
That's part of the problem in general with the U.S. is that we are not savers
or spenders. So, that's true.
Yeah, and
that's true.
We've been a debt society for quite a while.
Yeah. So at 323,000, you're probably talking about like a D.R. Horton community where most of the houses are made of siding and most of them are rentals. Okay. Then at 400,000, you could even get into could you even get into Pecan Square, like at the 40-foot lot line houses? I mean, you could get something. You could get a little. No, you could get into Legacy in Salina. You could get into that subdivision there.
Pecan Square, I think the lowest I've seen is just under 600.
Even the 40-foot lot lines?
Those are usually, you'd be surprised though.
I guess so. But there you go, guys. That's when it talks about that article that I was talking about, where it said 144,000 more buyers would be able to enter the market. Really, that's kind of what you're talking about, because, right now at 7%, if a buyer is qualified for 250,000, chances are there's nothing out there they're going to want to buy. Okay. Now we have helped a couple buyers in that lower price range and we found them something. But chances are, but then when you get up, it just makes such a difference. So really when they talk about the change in affordability and when they talk about mortgage rates coming down, there's a lot of truth to that. And I know my housing pricers don't like hearing that, but I do think it makes a difference. Okay. But and this is important to hear, you guys, this is important to hear. Okay. Affordability challenges will not disappear overnight.
True.
Because property taxes, insurance premiums, and construction costs remain high, limiting the full effect of the Fed's move. Yep. You guys, we need to see some property tax relief around here. We really do. We need to
have to change some.
We need to see Texas
to change some people in the Texas Congress.
Yeah, we need to see some major property tax reform.
There's some people that like government. They like to have government do everything.
Yeah, and I've told you some examples of that. I think a lot of times you'll hear people vote for property tax increases, but they'll make it sound they will manipulate you to get on their side by saying it's like for teacher raises, that the only way that teachers can get a raise is if you vote for higher property taxes, stuff like that.
They usually already have the budget for that.
They do. They live on a budget like we all do and figure out how to give those teachers raises without having to raise the property taxes. Be more fiscal management. Okay, let's see here now. Mr. Owell, these numbers are good perspective and help gauge overall affordability. They really do, don't they? I think a lot of people don't really realize the power in mortgage rates, and how much it can either suffocate and stifle the market or really just kind of put it on fire. It really does. Let's see, where were we here? Okay, next page. Lower rates may pull some buyers back into the market. We're already seeing signs of increased mortgage applications across Texas.
Saw that last. Well,
we did. We saw that. Ago, yeah. And I will tell you guys, from just like if you want to dig into like a micro market or a micro type of situation, we got suddenly very, very busy when the mortgage rates went down. All of a sudden, all of our agents are so much busier. And that happens usually in the fall for us anyway. Because we always encourage our buyers to wait if they can. If they're flexible, we always tell them you're going to get a better deal in the fall. So we always are really busy in the fall anyway. But I can tell you, when the mortgage rates went down, all of a sudden we had a lot of buyers who were waiting and they were watching for that. And suddenly they had it and they all jumped in the market. So I think was it last week we got like 5 buyers under contract just within a few days. So just a lot going on. Okay, let's see here now. Where are we? Next one. But demand will likely be measured, not explosive.
Yeah,
I think so too. I agree with that. I don't think we're going to see some big giant explosion. Buyers remain cautious about job security, guys. The job market. I mean, that is there. Job security amid signals of a slowing economy. The possibility of home values leveling off or even softening. The higher total cost of ownership due to insurance and taxes. What do you guys think about that? Anybody chiming in? I think I agree. I think I can see that everybody, I think all 3 of those, I think people have worried about. I think I've been told, like we had several buyers early on that said, there have been rumors about layoffs, so we're just going to wait.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't even that they had been laid off. They were just kind of nervous about the market. And I think I bet that's a lot more than actual layoffs. More people that are just cautious. They're fiscally smart and they're like, we're going to be conservative about this. Hey, Isaac, let's see. Isaac, I think we just recently got you under contract, Isaac. My wife and I chose Anna over Fate with Grand Homes. We've been living here for 3 years and Anna has been blowing up. I can't wait for the mortgage rates to drop a little bit. Yes, I think so. I think a lot of people are definitely with you on that one. Okay, let's see here now. For sellers, homes priced appropriately will move faster, but overpriced listings will continue to stagnate. I agree.
Yeah,
I think that is very true.
I think it's definitely more important that you get your home price right for selling.
Yeah. Price. People, you know what? Price it appropriately and stage it as much as you can.
But sellers don't seem to. Really
don't overprice it. I know. And I think it's because there's a personal investment there. You're like, it's your baby. You remember painting that room and, putting all those things in. And it just, you really love your house.
You'll remember it longer because you'll be there longer.
Don't overprice your home, people. Go with the market analysis. Let the market analysis tell you what you need to know. Oh, hey, Arian. I don't know if we've met before. Hello. I'm waiting until end of the year incentives. Renting now month to month for flexibility. That is really smart. Arian, I would recommend Thanksgiving, Christmas. I mean, and you're talking about end of the year incentives. That is so smart. I completely agree with you there. I think that is fantastic strategy because again, the best prices of the year are when you go under contract around Thanksgiving and Christmas. When the lowest prices are in January, always January. And so that means it's the people that went under contract at the end of the year. So Arian, I think that is brilliant. Very impressed. If I were moving, I would do the same thing. All right, let's see here now. I certainly think the job market will have an impact. I agree. I've been tracking the DFW job market and it appears to be moving in the right direction with several corporate HQs in the area. In fact, Dallas Morning News, I had something about data centers coming into the area. So I like hearing that. I like hearing about an influx of jobs for sure. Very good point, Mr. OL. Let's see here now. I'm optimistic. We move there next summer and we'll look to contract in the fall. Excellent time. Nice. Again, Mr. OL, that is brilliant. Going in the fall is always best. If you can, you're going to get better prices. Actually was looking up the numbers again because this was a video that I've just finished, and the difference between June to January is as much as 12%. So if you buy in June and you pay $1 million, you could get the exact same house for $880.
Nice.
In January. Like literally, the number's not lying here. I'm not exaggerating. That's the actual data. The $1 million house in June, you can get it for $880 closing in January. So if you can put up with one inconvenient Thanksgiving and Christmas, you've just added to your net worth, right? $120,000 in net worth. But I don't know if I could do it. Like, I just don't know. Like, I just love Christmas and the grandbabies. So I'm not even sure that I could ever do that. But the strategy is there. If you're able to be flexible, guys, you can make so much more by buying in the fall and just kind of holding off. June is when you're probably going to pay the most. All right. I don't know how we got off on that tangent. But to see how these trends look on the ground, here are some of the latest stats as of August 2025. And I skipped some of them. I didn't think they were as accurate. Like the Dallas City. I was like, look that up. I was like, where'd they get that from? Homes are taken about 58 days on the market before going under contract. That sounds about right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think so. Significantly longer than a year ago when it averaged 42 days. Very
definitely
true.
some areas that are a lot longer than that too. So.
Yeah. Inventory has climbed to around 5.4 months supply across North Texas. I agree with that too. More listings are having to cut their prices. Absolutely. With 35 to 40% of homes showing price reductions. On average, homes are selling for about 95% of their original list price. In fact, guys, I want to show you this. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick because I think this is very telling. See how fast the internet moves. Hey, have you noticed we haven't had internet problems yet? That's pretty awesome.
You ruined it.
Yeah, I probably jinxed it, didn't I? All right, I just want to show you guys this if I can get it to load. Okay, I'm going to share this tab instead. Do you see this, guys, right here? Let's see. Hopefully you can see this. This piece right here are our price decreases over the past 7 days. So 4,228 price decreases. Okay, and even if you just look at the bar right here, I mean, isn't that powerful? How much, you can just see how much that is just owning the market. Now, interestingly enough, is this price increase. And if you click on this, if you look at all the houses where the prices are going up, the hilarious thing is how many of those, almost all of them are new construction, where the builders are like, yes, rates went down. Let's all raise our prices.
Yeah.
But reality though, guys, check that out. 4,228 price decreases in the past 7 days. So pretty powerful stuff. Okay, let's get back to our article though. More listings are having to cut prices. Absolutely. About to the tune of like 4,200 a week. Takeaway, while prices remain elevated, slower sales and growing supply create opportunities for buyers and investors who are patient and challenges for sellers trying to hold firm on price. Yes, the buyers who are patient. Love this, Mr. OL. One inconvenient Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's it. I'm all in. There you go. See, the buyer who is patient. The buyer who is patient is the buyer that wins. We actually helped a buyer a couple years ago who ended up with $105,000 in equity between the appraisal and the purchase price. And that was just a huge win. I was very excited about that. Let's see. Purple Drink. I am also shooting for fall of 2026 for the move. Things are looking good so far. Awesome. Again, great time. All right. Thoughts on Union Main Homes. Hey, best life ever. What are your thoughts on Union Main Homes?
They're average homes, I guess. I mean, they're not bad. I've seen some nice ones, but they build a decent amount. I mean, they're in several places in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
That is one we haven't done a builder review on, but we're about to.
Pretty mixed reviews, so
yeah,
it's hard. I mean, you definitely have to look local.
Do you think it's fair to say that they're about on par with Tri-Point? Union Main,
Tri-Point? I think they're real similar.
Kind of middle,
to
maybe
them,
like David Weekley, kind of in that range. Mid-range.
What was the other builder I was thinking of? But yeah, something like that. But,
yeah. So average, best life ever. That's what we would say. Very average, nothing to get super excited about.
But I think you might find some decent deals with them. I don't know. You see a lot in the starting in the low to mid fours, some in the fives. But
Wildflower Ranch, Walden Pond,
soon,
Union. Okay, so they've got some good communities. Okay, refinancing and move-up buyers. Move-up buyers may become more active, especially those who purchased within the last 2 to 3 years at higher rates. I think the more time goes on, the more we're going to have this unfrozen market, because you're going to have these buyers who they're like, I don't care if I hang on to this 7% rate or not, versus right now, you have all those 2020, 2021 buyers with the 3% who are like, they don't want to, but everybody who started buying June of 2022, they don't have any particular, reason until they have equity. So, all right, let's see here now. So move up buyers. And by the way, your move up buyers, those are the ones that have the 20% down. So if you're not there yet and you can't fathom and you think to yourself, I'll never have 20% down, you will. Okay. It's just a matter of time. It's a matter of buying smart and waiting, because that's where most buyers have the 20% down, are the ones that are move up buyers. All right, let's see. Risks and market headwinds. Even with rate cuts, several risks remain. Economic slowdown. The Fed is cutting rates partly because the labor market is softening. A weaker economy could reduce buyer demand despite cheaper borrowing. Inflation wildcard. I think we saw that this week. If inflation remains sticky, long-term mortgage rates may not fall much further. Affordability gap. Dallas home prices remain high compared to median incomes, keeping pressure on first-time buyers. It is hard for, I definitely hear that. I think of my viewers that comment the most on my videos, it's generally like the first-time buyers who are just, they're just like, these prices are ridiculous. I can't get into the market. And I agree. It takes a lot of,
don't have as much cash and stuff. So
and they don't, I mean, you don't have as much cash. I think you have to be just very strategic, and maybe maybe focus on buying in a better area, even if you have to get a smaller home. Right. Just strategy, being tactical and knowing it's not your forever home. Okay, let's see here now. Insurance and taxes. In Texas, these costs weigh heavily on buyers' budgets and aren't solved by Fed policy. Yeah, we need to do something about those taxes. Yep. Final thoughts. The Fed's rate cut is good news for the housing market, but it won't bring back the frenzy of 2021 to 2022. We don't want that.
That's what caused the prices. That's what caused the unaffordability in the first place.
Yeah, that is absolutely right. We do not want that. A little help would be nice, a little bit lower, I think, for how many more buyers would be able to enter the market. But I agree with you. We do not want that frenzy. For Dallas-Fort Worth, the likely impact is gradual improvement in affordability, modestly higher demand, and more opportunities for investors and agents who stay ahead of the curve. All right, that is their prediction for what we're going to look at.
What do you think? Actually.
What do you think? You were not sure.
Well, you never know about these people.
You weren't sure if this article
they
is
act
going
like
to be
they know
good.
stuff, and then
what do you think? You think that's
they're
true?
standing behind some desk someplace, and no, it's not bad. That was.
Yep, I think that's probably pretty accurate. Now, I think if rates plummeted, you would see it explode a lot more. But even so, I mean, it's just like this giant machine that takes a little bit of time to get started, you know? So Fed cuts rates. So gradual improvement in affordability, modestly higher demand, and more opportunities. I like it. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's see. Buyers may return, but cautiously. Sellers will need to price strategically. Okay. And as always in real estate, those who adapt fastest to changing conditions will benefit the most. Now, I really agree with that line. Yeah. And I'm very against ever having a buyer in a high pressure situation, right? And yet at the same time, I see that there's a tactical advantage right now.
If you're able to.
Yeah. If you were ready, if you'd been prepared for a while, like who was it that just said that they've been preparing and going month to month? That's the way you want to be. Yeah. Ariane said that. That's the way you want to be. You want to be planned ahead and ready, and then ready to enter the market, but it's not a high pressure entering the market. You don't feel rushed because you've had all this time to prepare.
At that point, you can move fast. So at that point,
Yep. All right, you guys. Well, let's see here now. I've got a few more comments, and then we can go and get some dinner. Let's see here now. Whoa. Mr. OL, what about if you are looking for a forever home? Any tips on how to do that when you are not a first-time home buyer and you're looking for a long-term home? What do you think?
I think it works the same way. I mean, oftentimes I know that usually, I guess you have to be patient because most buyers that I've known that are looking for homes, they feel like they're going to be there a while. They're a lot pickier about what they want.
True.
So you definitely have to be patient. You need to, and the other idea would be just to make sure you've done a lot of research on where you want to be. I mean, so so you can drill it down into those areas and then be patient in that area and just constantly watch for the right home. So, yeah.
I think,
and while you're doing that, keep saving and,
and still buy below your means. Buy below your means for sure. Build your savings and then enter the market when you're ready, and don't be rushed about it. But at the same time, be ready for when that opportunity presents itself, not spontaneously overnight, but have all your ducks in a row, because there are opportunities that do go fast and then they're gone. I mean, like as an example, like 2 weeks ago, rates were at 5.5%. I could hope that some buyers locked them right then. Lock those rates when you see them go down. Somebody that's ready probably could have taken advantage of that. Okay, let's see here. I see taxes changing from neighborhood to neighborhood. It gets confusing. You're right. Absolutely, it does. It really does. It's because it's a sum of multiple parts. That's a big part of it. And then, of course, if you're talking all the way down to like mud and PID, then it really gets confusing. I do a lot of videos where I compare communities within like a city.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how like Trinity Falls in McKinney and Painted Tree. Trinity Falls, the mud will cost you and the taxes cost you about $300 more a month. Mm-hmm. And they're similar communities.
Yeah.
And you're completely
but their
right.
Locations are a bit different. So the Trinity Falls is not in the city limits. Most of it, at least not.
Yeah.
Very
true. All right. Quick turns don't often. Oh, let's see right here. Yeah. I like gradual improvement. Me too. Absolutely. I think that's a healthier way to see it, is just having a gradual improvement instead of, quick turns don't often produce good results. That's exactly right. You get in there, you're anxious, you're eager, because the market is exploding and it just creates like a high pressure situation. All right. What do you think about selling in June? And do you think the mortgage rates can be in the 5s 7 months from now?
Selling in June is a good time. Mm-hmm. I mean, you might start a little bit before that, like maybe May, April, May, but still June is usually the high point for the prices usually. This year it was more around May timeframe, but generally it's in June. So
I think it's a great strategy to kind of, just as you're working up that curve. Met with a buyer just a couple weeks ago who we were talking about that. She's not in any rush, so let's wait until the spring. Why put yourself into a situation of a disadvantage by listing in December unless you have to, And then, do I think that mortgage rates can be in the 5s? Well, the first thing that comes to mind is, do you mean conventional fixed or FHA?
Yeah.
Because we literally just had FHA in the 5s, 5.5. So if you're talking about conventional 30,
fixed was just barely above 5. So
so I think so. I definitely think
possible.
that it is possible. And then the other thing is, when I think 7 months from now, in my mind, I'm starting to head into, I haven't done the math, but in May, we know that Jay Powell's going out, and whoever Trump, appoints is going to go in, and that's going to be somebody who wants lower rates. Right now, his appointee, Stephen Myron, he wants rates down. He wants 3 half-point basis cuts. And he said that he thinks that the neutral level is 2%. Wow. That's what he thinks neutral is. And so if you get somebody like that, that's the Fed chair, then I absolutely think rates can be in the 5s 7 months from now. I do. And it's not as though we're saying maybe Jay Powell will retire. Okay, we know that his term is up, and we know how vocal Trump has been about getting rid of him. So to me, that's not really a variable. Yeah. That's not really a wild card. That's like, you can actually have a crystal ball here and know that as of May, Jay Powell is going out.
Would be what investors think about all that stuff. So where they and
true.
what happened with the stock market and which will affect the way what happens with the bonds and stuff. So
like we never want to lose track of the fact that the Fed doesn't directly move mortgage rates, but. All right, you guys. Well, I think that's all of our comments, and I think we are going to call it a night. I'm so glad we haven't had internet problems. We had those last week, so I'm really glad. It's really good to talk to you guys.
It's great to see you guys.
Yeah.
Or hear from you.
Yeah, to hear from you. All right. Well, everybody, listen, have a good evening, and we will talk to you again next week. All right. Bye.
Bye.